Oh, fucking nice. Fucking bitch, take that. Eat a dick. What is going on, guys? It is your boy JC1718 out here with another Black Ops 3 gameplay and another commentary added to the list. So in this commentary, I want to talk about myself in general. Well, stories about my childhood and past and stuff like that, so you guys can get to know a little bit about my background. So, 4 topics I'm going to talk about in this video. And you might see me pause the video because these are, some of them are long topics. So, first is going to be my first fight. Second is my happiest moment of my life so far. Third is my best childhood memory. And fourth is the most sad one, and it's the most tragic moment that I ever had in my life. So let's get to it. So my first fight happened in Prospect Park, New York, Brooklyn, New York, as a matter of fact. It was on a playground when I was like 4 to 5 years old. 4 to 5 years old. So let's get to it. There used to be these 3 girls in the playground that I used to bother. You know, I was a kid. I used to bother a lot of people. And I used to call one of them girls my girl. She wasn't really my girl. I was just fucking around and shit. You know, we were little kids. But anyways, I come back one day, and these girls, they're talking to some white kid. And I don't know why I said white, but just so you guys know, skin color. Anyways, these girls were Caucasian too, yeah. So I'm fucking around as a kid. And the kid, one of the girls told the kid to chase me. So he starts chasing me around the playground. And I don't know if he was playing it for real, but all I know is when I stop, I outrun him the first time. And the second time we meet face to face, and he grabs me by my shirt, and I punch him in the face for grabbing me by my shirt. And we start fighting, and we start we went down the slide, throwing punches at each other and crap. And I beat him badly. Like, at the end, when that fight ended, when his parents separated us, it was his mom and dad, and my dad was talking to one of his friends, some woman that he knows. Wow, he was sitting at the park benches. We all got separated, and the kid starts crying, and I'm laughing at his face, like, bitch, I just fucked you up, yeah. But the funny thing is, right when I leave, I start crying myself because I was in pain. I was in pain too. I kicked his ass. I didn't start crying until I left. He started crying after I kicked his ass, right? Literally when I kicked his ass. So I won that fight. That was my first fight as a kid. So it gets funnier. Anyway, me and my dad leave, and my dad used to be a salesman, a car salesman. So he always had a nice, you know, car, a nice whip. So at the time, my dad had a red BMW convertible, BMW, 2 doors. So me and my dad get in the car. Obviously, it's a fucking convertible. Of course, it's gonna be 2 doors. Anyways, me and dad get in the car, and we're stopped at a red light, and we see the kid and his mom and dad walking by. So I decide to stick my middle finger at the kid, and his mom looks at me, and he's like, "Ah, come on, that's not nice." Oh man, I would do anything to go back to that memory. Anyway, that was my first fight. You know, it was a crazy fight, you know, but I won that fight, you know. Now, on to the happiest moment of my life. Alright, so I have one brother, which is from the same mom and dad. He's older than me. I'm the youngest brother out of 2 brothers and 1 sister. So yeah, I have the same brother from same mom, same dad. He's like 8 years older than me, and he lives in Puerto Rico. And then I have another brother who's from another mom, but he's from the same dad. And then I have a sister who's from the same mom but different dad. So she's the oldest one. My brother from another mother is the second oldest one, and then my brother, same mom, same dad, is my older brother. So anyways, my older brother lives in Puerto Rico, and he comes to visit. And my other brother comes from he lives somewhere in New York, like upstate New York somewhere. I live in the city in New York. I live in Brooklyn. So my dad, who lives in DR, you know, they plan a vacation, all of them to come down here and visit me and shit. So my brother from Puerto Rico comes stays at my house and shit, while my older brother comes to stay for like 3 days, and my dad comes to stay for like 3 days for like a month. So anyways, you know, me and my brother and my two brothers and my dad, like all of us together, haven't been in the same room since I was like 5 years old. So, you know, both of my older brothers, they both have kids. You know, I'm an uncle of two. I got two nephews. You know, one's a little baby. He's just turned 2 recently, and the other one is like 10 years old. So yeah, my older brother from another mother, he has a kid. He's like 10 years old, and my older brother has a kid who just turned 2 years old. But anyways, we all took a picture together. We all haven't been in the same room together since I was like 5 years old, or like 6 years old. So we all took a picture together, and we were all in the same room talking about childhood memories, you know, funny moments, how they used to play pranks on me, blah blah blah. My brothers used to play pranks on me, like when, you know, like the PlayStation 2. I always like to play games, so they were like, oh, if you don't get out of the room, we're gonna put the scary game on, you know. It's crazy memories, man. I almost shed a couple of tears being in the same room with my family, you know. So that's probably my happiest moment in my life. Now on to the best childhood memory. So one of my best childhood memories was when I was a kid. I went to Disneyland, and my dad went with me, with my mom, and my older brother from same mom, same dad. And my sister also went. So my dad gives me this hat, this Spider-Man hat, and you know, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'm a huge Tobey Maguire fan because he's the original Spider-Man to me. I don't care what anybody says. Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man to ever come out. And he will always be the original Spider-Man. I don't care who Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland are, you know. Tobey Maguire will always be the best Spider-Man, in my opinion. Just because he's original. He doesn't need the web slingers. But anyways, back to the subject. Yeah, so my dad gave me a Spider-Man hat, and I went to Disneyland, and there was this waterfall water ride. It was like a roller coaster in the waterfall. I get on that ride, and right when I go through the waterfall area, my hat falls off. So I was a little kid, and I start crying for the whole fucking day. Like, nobody could shut me up. Like, I wanted the hat back, man. I was crying like a little crybaby. So anyways, my aunt, she gives me a hat, another Spider-Man hat, but it's not the same because that hat was for my dad, and she gives me. But anyways, you know, I'm a person that's, oh, I don't know, but I'm that type of person that's always attached to material, man. I hate when I break something, you know, it really pisses me off when I break something or lose something. I don't know, I gotta get rid of that. It's a bad habit. But there you have it, folks. You know, that's my greatest childhood memory, going to Disney and losing a hat. Oh, man. Anyways, now for one of the darkest moments in my life, which is the final subject I'm gonna talk about in this video, and it's the most tragic moment in my life. So, the most tragic moment in my life, I'm gonna start from the beginning, and I hope you guys pick it up. So, I used to live in Puerto Rico when I was a kid. I was in 2nd grade, and I just started 2nd grade in this new school. I used to go to some other school, but the teacher got sick, so my mom transferred me to another school because the teacher was absent for like 2 weeks, and she wanted me not to miss education or anything like that. So I started in the new school. I've been like a month in the new school now. I've been like 2 weeks in the new school, and then all of a sudden, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. From what I remember, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. My mom, I see my aunt, I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll wake up, and my room is right next to my mom's room in my other house, in my house in Puerto Rico. I see my aunt and my cousin walking down the hallway to my mom's room. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I go to use the bathroom to wash my face, and I go to the fucking, to my mom's room. And in my mom's room, I see my mom crying. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? My mom tells me to pack my shit, that we're going to New York. So I pack my stuff, and we get on a plane to go to New York. You know, flight, right after I wake up, we go to a flight, and we're like in New York at like 10 o'clock or like 11 o'clock, we're in New York. So it's me, my brother from the same mom, same dad, and my mom. We get picked up by my godmother and godfather in the airport, and nobody's telling me what's going on. So yeah, they give me a jacket that's really big because it was cold at the time in New York. This was like during the start of fall. So it's very chilly. Anyways, you drive to the hospital, and I'm like, what's going on? You know, they park the car, and we go inside the hospital. And we go to the emergency room. As we're walking through the emergency room, you know, hallways, I see my sister from a mile away. And she doesn't look too happy. I mean, she's not happy at all. She's very, very disappointed. I'm gonna pause the gameplay here because there's still a long talk to the story. Anyway, my sister looks very sad. So she comes up to me and she gives me a hug. And I'm so nervous, like I don't know what's going on. So my sister gives me a hug, and then I go inside inside the room. Like there was this big room. I go inside the room, the emergency room, with my mom. I mean, not with my mom, but with my brother. And you know, I'm getting kind of sad right now. I see my dad in a coma with tubes in his mouth, with a machine right next to him, keeping him alive. And I just look at him, and he looks at me back. You know, I didn't know what to say. You know, I didn't know what happened. I just look at my dad, you know, and, you know, this is one of the most craziest, most tragic moments of my life because my father, he's very important to me. He holds a special place in my heart, you know, him after my mom. You know, my mom and dad, I love them both so much, man. And it's crazy because I'm such a pain in the ass to both of them at times, you know. I'm an immature teenager, and I sometimes disrespect my mom and dad, and I regret doing it. I really do. And anyways, back to the story. I see my dad with a machine, and he looks at me, and I look at him back, and then they take me off the aisle. Like the nurses kick me out the room, you know, because it's an emergency room, I can't be there. And then I hug my sister and I start crying. You know, what happened to my dad was the same morning, the same night, the night before. I mean, yeah, it was like 11 o'clock the day before I came. And it was at nighttime. And there was these two guys they were planning, they've been plotting to jump my dad. So their plan was to, well, my dad used to live in the apartment that I live right now. So they always saw my dad with stacks of money and shit. So their plan was to wait for my dad to come to the apartment at nighttime. And my dad always comes at nighttime because he's always at like he used to be at like the deli chilling with his homeboys and shit, talking and stuff. So they waited for my dad to come at nighttime, and their plan was to kill my dad, wait for my dad to open the apartment building, kill my dad, and get away with the money and shit. So they did it too early. Thank God they did it too early. They saw my dad opening it right when he was about to open the door. One of them hits him in the back, and my dad starts fighting. And my dad knows how to fight good. So my dad kicks both of them. He gets stabbed like twice by one guy, while the other guy takes out a handgun, and my dad like fucking punches the handgun off the guy's hand. He takes it away, but the ammo falls off the gun. So both of the guys, my dad keeps fighting with them, and then they leave, and they get in the car, and they leave the neighborhood, while my dad, you know, is all busted. He was stabbed and shit. He went back to the deli which is right in front of my house, apartment. You know, he calls the ambulance, and you know, they pick him up and take him to emergency, and then I come back the next day to New York. But, you know, that was one of the most tragic moments in my life, just because the fact that I could have lost my father, you know, and if I would have lost my dad, you know, I don't think I would have been able to be in this position I am in life. You know, I would have been so worse because my dad is very important. Like I said before, he's one of the main reasons I'm here today. You know, he's always motivated me to do good in life, always give me motivation. So yeah, you know, the moral of that story is to appreciate family members, man, because life just goes on by the snap of a finger. You can lose a family member, you can lose a friend in the blink of an eye, man. And you know, never be on bad terms with anybody, man. Try to not have beef with anybody. Always enjoy life, man. Always have a good time with somebody, because the day you treat somebody like shit, you never know if they will be gone the next day, and you'll regret that, man. So I just want to say thank you guys. I'm gonna start talking about the story because, you know, it really gets me my feelings. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. The reason I did this commentary was so you guys get to know me, my background as a whole. So yeah, if you guys want to leave me feedback, feel free. Like I said before, I'm open to criticism. You know, I enjoy criticism. I want to be a good YouTuber. I want to go far with this YouTube, man. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please leave me feedback once again. I'm gonna leave my Instagram and my Snapchat in the description, so feel free to add me. I'll add you guys back and I'll watch the snaps. It's cool with me, man. So on to the next video. Peace, guys. JC out.
All CDP assets degraded.
Request immediate AAR and redeploy. That's right. I'm your worst nightmare in the TOO.